I felt lighter, I felt more energetic. After I'd done the cleanse, felt good. On the 4th day waking up, I felt energetic. I felt really bright in my mood. So my name is Natalie Ross, and I'm a social worker for local authority. I work with children and families and adults in crisis. So I was looking at ways to detox and live like a healthier lifestyle. A couple of years ago, my partner died of cancer, and that really spurred me on to look at diet and how it impacts on your life, and look at doing a gut cleanse and just really cleaning up my lifestyle. I probably do lead quite a healthy lifestyle in terms of like already being somebody who's interested in holistic medicine and complementary therapies, rather than go down the traditional route of going to a GP or a doctor when I feel unwell. So just kind of I really built on what I already knew, and just I had been speaking to a friend about it, and she said that she was trying the enzymes, and she gave me some of the little tablets that help you go to the toilet. They're fibre tablets, and they worked really good. And I thought, this is interesting. I started to look at the cleanses, and I thought I would try the gut cleanse. So I've done my gut cleanse, and I've been using that since, and it really does feel like it's working well. Well, I didn't have a huge amount of trust to begin with, so that's probably why I always try to look for alternative ways of looking at my health. And then obviously since my partner passed, it really, I was quite passionate about it. It's been a big driving force. It's really looked at obviously how medicine tricks people and how big pharma just wants to make money. It's all about not about people's health. It's not about getting well, it's keeping you sick, just dealing with the symptom, not getting to the root cause. My research has took me down a path of finding out that most illness starts in the gut, so everything kind of starts from there. Cancer is parasitic, and when you're ill, your body's telling you need to change, something needs to change. It's your body screaming at you, change something. And when you're stuck in trauma, when somebody's got a diagnosis, a cancer or a significant serious diagnosis, you're fight or flight, and you're not thinking in a clear head. And it's only in reflection that I now realise that my partner took one bout of chemo, and I think maybe took a heart attack. He was at home and he wouldn't go back to hospital, but he thought he was going to die after having one bout of chemo. Came home sitting in the couch, and he couldn't breathe properly. He started to clutch his chest and his arm, and after a few minutes it passed. But what happened after that was he began to decline. So he was a fit, healthy man. He'd lost a bit of weight, but subsequently after taking this chemotherapy, declined slowly. They couldn't get upstairs. Then eventually he couldn't walk anymore. He had to get a hospital bed in the house, and he deteriorated. Within 6 months he'd passed after having this diagnosis. We did look at alternatives, but his mindset wasn't similar to mine, so he didn't have a lot of faith in alternatives, and he was a bit unsure. Plus he was already traumatised by being given this diagnosis, and he had close family members of his pass from cancer, and he was really scared. So it's only when you've got a clearer head and you start to research things, and you start to think about your own health and how it's all like the body, the mind and the spirit. I'm not saying that it might not have been a different outcome, but it might have been. You'll never really know. If he could have maybe embraced his health in a different way, it might have had a different outcome for him. But in terms of speaking out about it, I would never tell anybody to take chemotherapy. Never. What I know about it now is it just destroys anything good, any good gut health, any chance you've got. You need to build yourself up. This strips you down. So that is a big, massive shift in my mindset. But also, any other illness now, I will look at starting internally what I'm eating. We're poisoned in so many ways. All our food's poisoned now. Even if you think you're eating a healthy diet, there's no way you're getting nutrition from the food you're eating, because the rivers are poisoned, the land's poisoned. So everything you're consuming has got an element of poison. So really it's the way forward for me now. Like I've done this ZenCleanz 1, and the next one I want to do is really looking at doing a liver cleanse, because I've had a lot of problems in my own health with constipation and bowel, and being diagnosed with IBS and never really having a way of kind of clearing that up. And when I was young I had fibroids, and I had to have a hysterectomy when I was 30. If I knew what I knew now, I wouldn't have went down that road. I would have tried different ways. I would have really tried to cleanse my body internally, and that's kind of what I plan to do now going forward, is just really work through the different cleanses, but also look at what I'm eating and try and just improve, like eating more fermented foods and just really doing a lot more research. Well, I was actually probably relatively okay in terms of my health. I had go to the gym, and I was working probably quite a good fitness program. Obviously I had a full-time job and I was working, and but that was always part of my lifestyle, and probably in comparison to other people in my age, being 50, probably they would say probably quite a healthy lifestyle. I'm not a big drinker, probably occasional at the weekends, maybe only if I'm going out somewhere, which isn't that often, maybe once a month or something like that. And I don't really drink like fizzy, juicy Coca-Cola or any of those types of drinks. So don't eat takeaway, try and cook fresh as much as I can. I'm not saying I don't eat processed foods, because I do, but I really try and manage it. So I would have said overall the main problem for me was my constipation. Didn't have good bowel movement, and that is always an issue and stuff, and I was just kind of always lived with. I would probably have managed it more with the laxatives that I know that they weren't good for me, so I try and not. So it's just like a process of kind of going through, like, when it felt bad I would resort to laxatives, but if I could kind of manage it, I would do the best I could. Just looking at this Betty beetroot who was on the page when I done the Zen 1, she said your liver's not making enough bile, and that really made sense. I done the 1 cleanse, I couldn't take all the 10 powders in the one night, so I spaced it out. I took 7 one day and I took the 3 afterwards, 3 the next day. I didn't eat anything those 2 days apart from obviously the drinks, so I stayed fasted. And then the 3rd day I did stay fasted till the afternoon, then I had soup, but I didn't feel hungry at all, so that wasn't an issue. There was no hunger, and even although I had soup, I think it was more a habit. I wasn't particularly hungry, but probably recognised that I find comfort in food, even if it's not eating what we would think is comfort foods like cake and stuff like that. There is a sense of comfort in just having like even nutritious food. So I ate on that day, but I did feel quite emotional, got quite teary on the 3rd day, and it was a lot of letting go stuff. So that was quite good, because obviously we don't want to be storing any upset and trauma or emotions in the body. It's better to let it go. Even when you think, oh, I'm doing good just now, sometimes there's things that you're holding on to you're not like fully aware of. So that was good. That felt quite healing. I wasn't probably expecting it, but it didn't throw me when I was alright about it. I was just like taking it in my stride and thought, well, that's part of letting go, because obviously we're holding on to physical elements of so we're basically holding on to shit physically and emotionally, so it's good to let it go both ways and feel lighter. And I felt lighter, I felt more energetic after I'd done the cleanse. Felt good. On the 4th day waking up, I felt energetic. I felt really happy in my mood. I just felt happier. I like to just take it a little bit at a time, and feel the benefit, and then reflect on how that worked for me and where I would go next. So because the liver is obviously the main organ, and if that's not functioning 100%, then it's impacting every area of your life. Because I felt prior to doing the detox, I felt quite fatigued a lot, and so that's not as bad now. I don't feel that. I work shifts, so that doesn't help, but I've not felt as bad. Sometimes when I do a night, I can feel quite tired for days, whereas and feel that I'm kind of recuperating quicker from night shifts. Yeah, and my next plan is to do the liver cleanse and then just see where I feel that I would like to go next from there. So I've read on the website that some people do more than one liver cleanse before they try other things. So I feel that I had a good release when I done the Zen1. If I done a liver cleanse and I did pass maybe stones or because I imagine at 50, if you've not cleansed your liver before, there should be stones in there. I'm guessing like that would be a given. But you can have extra liquid, you can have water, and sometimes I feel hungry after it, but I didn't. Obviously, I was taking the drinks and that. Didn't feel hungry. I felt fine. So that I think helped as well, being in the sauna. Just be patient with yourself, and I would say that from what I've found out, everything does start in the gut. And if you need to, clean up your lifestyle, then just look into kind of a cleansing and what you can do just to really promote your own health. Like, you need to take your own power back. You need to take control of your own life. You can't expect somebody else to come along and save you, because I'm not going to. You really have to just look after yourself and take your power back. Don't just follow what everybody else does. Look at alternatives, do your research and try alternative ways, not just following what a doctor will tell you or a GP will tell you, because sometimes they only can prescribe pills or treatments that they know, but there's so much out there, so much more. When your loved ones get a diagnosis of cancer, it's scary, and more people are going to get it, because lifestyles are toxic and there's so much stress and so many things that lead to people getting unwell. That's another thing I've learned. You need to be strong, you need to speak up for yourself. When my partner was in hospital, he'd done the chemo and the doctors kept coming round and wanted him to do radiotherapy. But then by then we just knew that wasn't the road to go. And it was really difficult, because like 4 different doctors came round and tried to persuade him to go down this road, and he was just like, no, I just want to go home. I don't want to be in hospital for my last days. I want to get out of here. I want to go home. And there's a lot of pressure on you. There's a lot of peer pressure. There's a lot of pressure from the medical profession, sometimes from family. But if you've done your research and you feel strong in that, stay in your own power. Like, just say no. Don't be forced to do something that doesn't feel right. And I think that just goes for all areas of our lives. I've never done a detox before. This is my probably real first experience. I've tried other things like Campbell and ayahuasca, but I've not done a cleanse where I've focused on like my internal body. So I feel that it was easy to follow. I think the products were really good. I like the idea of it being based around Chinese medicine, and because I think that looks at the whole system, all the systems in the body, and that's supportive. It was easy. I didn't feel hungry. Like, I worried about, if you're not eating for 3 days, you're going to feel really bad. But I did feel like I was getting nutrition. Like, obviously you're having the enzymes, and so you don't feel like, I'm not getting goodness. So yeah, I would say I would recommend ZenCleanz then. So I would say you're getting to the symptom when you're doing the ZenCleanz. You're not just camouflaging or just dealing with one thing. You're dealing with, there's something wrong in your body somewhere, and you need to repair that, and it won't happen overnight. So I feel like I got a good result, but it's just the start of the journey, and it's something that I'll always do now. Like, I will cleanse. I will try and do a cleanse twice a year. There's times when you're undecided, and I suppose because I've never been massively unwell. Yeah, I had a hysterectomy when I was 30, but that's not life-threatening. I never heard of anybody dying from needing a hysterectomy, but I heard of a lot of people dying from needing treatment for cancer. It's a big killer, and that was massive. And that was life-changing. That was massively life-changing. It's like working in reverse. So look after yourself before it becomes that crisis point. That's so better said than done, because most people take their health for granted until they don't have it. I don't want to see that happen for people. I want people around me, close to me, I want them to look after themselves. Well, it's part of my belief system that we are spiritual beings and we're here having a human experience, is how I would kind of describe it. So yeah, holistic, I always use the word when I learned my therapies, when I became a qualified reflexologist. The course was called Holistic Therapies, and that to me was like looking after your physical health, your well-being, also your spiritual well-being. Like, I'm not a religious person, but I believe in a God, but just not, I don't follow or practice any religion, but I believe that, I believe in karma. I believe that we should treat others the way that we want to be treated. And yeah, I think like we live in a really materialistic world, and it's so easy to get caught up into that, but actually when you can take a step back from that, you understand the important things in life. And that probably came at age. Probably didn't think that way in my 20s or 30s. I'm a mum, so I've got 2 sons, and obviously being a mum makes you think about other people's needs before your own. But as I get older, I really realise that, it sounds like a cliche, but people spend their whole life trying to make money, and then when they get to a certain point, they're spending that money trying to get a life. You need to get a balance. Everything's about balance. And the quicker you learn that, the better your experiences here are.